Hey MGTOWS, this is Vention. Well, it looks like the last of the the summer's brown is missing now from the yard. Everything in the Seattle area really turns green when it gets cold. It's like we have a dry season and a wet season, kind of like those southern countries. Yeah. Well, I am just recovering from a nasty cold. Yesterday I was drinking NyQuil and collapsing unconscious, sneezing my ass off, and I was not happy. And then if that wasn't bad enough, I looked at the Bitcoin price and it was like, oh God, no! Ah! But but basically, that isn't really how I like to focus on my Bitcoins, right? Every month that goes by, I'm able to purchase a little bit more and add it to my constantly growing stack. I treat it more like a vault of gold rather than an asset to day trade or whatever with. So usually, most of this year, I've been able to purchase from like 0.12 or 0.13, like 13 or 14%, all the way up to like 15% of a Bitcoin. And I've added more than a Bitcoin to my stack this year so far. And just the other day, though, I purchased 0.17 Bitcoins and added that to the pile. And if the price remains what it is now, my next purchase will be about 22% of a Bitcoin. So every time that the price drops down, I'm able to take a bigger chunk and add a bigger chunk of a Bitcoin to my stack. And basically, over the next 2 months, if the price remains here, I'll be able to add an entire Bitcoin to my collection. And at this point, we are like right near the point where we're going to be having all of these Wall Street companies come in and pumping the price up, and the whales and the hedge funds, and and possibly Wall Street companies or agents of them have been shoving the price down as hard as they can, shorting the market, and it's there because you can tell these really sharp, sudden drops. They are absolutely whale activity, and the only genuine panic that I could really see in the market was just recently when we had a couple of those big, huge, sudden, sharp drops, and then the whales started getting what they wanted. You started seeing a more gradual decline in the Bitcoin price, and that is that is people like you and me throwing in the towel and saying, "Oh, I can't take it anymore," and selling. And man, next year those people they're probably going to be buying back in, or they're going to be out forever. But in any case, they're not going to be profiting from what's coming. As the Bitcoin Meister always says, it's the strong hands that will win the day here. The market, any kind of market, stock market, Bitcoin market, crypto market, those are all mechanisms which tend to transfer wealth from people who are impatient to people who are patient. And then you have the really high IQ types, and I'm no slouch. I'm a mechanical genius, clearly, but I am not a genius at trading Bitcoin or cryptos. Every single time I've tried, I've lost money. So I am not going to jump into the arena of trading again. I've done it before, and every single time I've done it, I've lost money. So no, not doing it. But I can but buying and holding is something that I can do, and it doesn't require a lot of real serious, incredible mental capacity. It doesn't require a real brilliant mind to do it. And in most areas, I am not brilliant. I'm just average. Only with machines am I like far beyond average. I mean, I am. I used to brag that I'm as good with machines as Conan is with his sword, which was a hell of a boast. But I was a young man when I used to say that. And so basically, I do what I can. I'm not a trader. I don't have the mental capacity for it. I clearly don't have the patience for it, sitting there waiting for a trade to set up to the point where you can buy in at a bounce. And geez, I am not like that. I'm a hard worker, but I am not that patient. So I just buy and hold. And then then at the end of the year, when it's tax time, I fill out my EZ form, and it takes 15 minutes, and I'm done. And then I go on with my life. The only thing I really need to learn how to do with this strategy is take profits. Because last year I was sitting on quite a pile of money. If I'd have known that the bear market was coming, I could have cashed everything in and retired reasonably comfortable for the rest of my life. But I was not expecting it. I was expecting it to go to 50 grand within months. Because, look what had happened before, But then the Mt. Gox coins started selling, and then basically the whole market started melting down and being pushed down deliberately. And now, at this price, the Wall Street types can sock away a ton of Bitcoins, and they will be ready for when the public, when they set up retail investing platforms like Bakkt and like Citigroup and like what Fidelity is going to be setting up, and the CBOE, their ETF, all of those things are going to bring Bitcoins to the retail IRA holding investor, right? And the people who are buying right now are those people who are like getting ready for when the retail people come in and drive the price up. And then they will sell it and do whatever they usually do. Well, the big, huge stocks in like the high-tech stocks in Wall Street are melting down again, and it's my opinion that we are at the end of the big bull run economic cycle, and then every 7 to 10 years we have a big bear market, and stocks and real estate fall. Precious metals get driven up historically, and we're going to be seeing it again. In fact, we're already seeing it. Real estate are starting to come down in Canada especially, and stocks are obviously coming down. So now is the time to be looking to the future and consider going to cash maybe. This is not investment advice. I'm a diesel mechanic, and then consider what's coming. If I was like living here by myself, I would probably sell this place like very soon. But as it is, I probably won't sell it till middle spring, possibly late spring, is when I want to pull the trigger on this thing. And then I'll be out of the real estate market for when the big, huge bear market comes in for real estate, because they're still raising interest rates, and when that happens, real estate obviously goes down because people can't afford those mortgages. They can afford a certain amount of mortgage every month, and if the stock or if interest rates go up, they simply can't afford to to buy as expensive a house. So the result is house values will get driven down. Then when house values drop, people will be underwater. Then they'll stop paying their mortgages. Then they'll get foreclosed. Then we'll have more inventory showing up on the market. They'll be sending jingle mail to the mortgage company, sending their keys. And then basically we'll have another big bear run in the real estate market, and I'll be out of real estate by then. And then in 2 years, maybe 3, real estate will have had time to drop and then bottom out like they did in 2012. And that's when I sold half my silver at $34 an ounce for the down payment on this house. And basically I've ridden the value of this house up over the last 7-8 years or so, or 7 years, from 2012 to 2018. What is that, 6 years? Yeah. And then basically it went from 160 grand to 300, maybe 320,000. So and maybe I'll get like 290 out of it or something. I'll still have to pay all kinds of sales and local stamp taxes and whatnot, and other costs when I sell this place. But cool thing is I won't have to pay income tax because I've lived here more than a couple of years, and somehow the real estate for your house has become something of a tax shelter, which is pretty darn awesome. That's $140,000 in gains that I will not have to pay taxes on. I'm a big fan of not paying taxes. So over the next couple years, we should see a pretty serious meltdown in Wall Street and real estate. We might see a good sized increase in precious metals price. And of course, I am really counting on a very healthy increase in the Bitcoin price. So yeah, good times. And every time I lock like another 0.15 or 0.17 Bitcoins into my stack, those Bitcoins, that wealth becomes vastly more difficult for government to get their hands on. The only way they can get their hands on it is to grab me, throw me in a cage and say, give me your Bitcoins. But as far as, that would be vastly even more important. I mean, it's important to me, but it would be even more important to a guy who's married, especially if his marriage is not looking like it's going to last. I'm a big fan of having a lot of having Bitcoins hidden and available only to you if you are a man who's married, because you would be sitting on a nice secure asset that you could access if you needed to. And if you would know that if the woman threw you out, you would have something to restart your life with, whereas a lot of guys would have nothing, right? And if you have that would be a good way of being more mentally secure. You would be more confident and more I guess you could say more masculine. And if you are more confident, more masculine, you are then more attractive to your wife, and it's possible she wouldn't kick you out after all. So who knows? If you have a big stash of Bitcoins and more personal power and less vulnerability to the woman being able to destroy you in the family court, then you will have more confidence and you'll be more attractive as a man, and the chance of divorce decreases. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Okay, guys, I just wanted to let you know that I'm still doing my normal thing, still fixing trucks, still socking away Bitcoins, and I'm buying about 0.15 to 0.17 most recently, and next week I'll probably buy 0.22 worth of Bitcoin if Bitcoins are in this same ballpark. In the past, I used to buy like, I would like measure it by Bitcoins, right? I would like buy 2 or 3 Bitcoins that month. But these days, with that they're so expensive, I just put $1,000 every paycheck in. But if they get cheaper again, I will probably start buying increments measured in Bitcoin, like 0.25 Bitcoin. Because if it's 0.22, the price, I will probably just specify 0.25 and pay like 1,100 or something, and then after 4 purchases like that will be a full Bitcoin. So yeah, that's something I can get more excited about. So as the Bitcoin Meister always says, measure your wealth in Bitcoin. Don't really focus too hard on the dollar value of those Bitcoins, or you'll drive yourself crazy. Because yesterday I was sick. I'm not great today, but I'm a lot better. But I pry myself out of bed and open up the monitoring program I have, and I look at it and I go, oh, have a little more NyQuil and go back to sleep. I'm not sure if I was more nauseated by the cold or the Bitcoin price, one or the other. So, oh, and by the way, I would like to say that I was wrong. About 3 months ago, when Bitcoins were like at the very low $6,000 range, I called the bottom. I said, I think Bitcoins have bottomed. Nope. I'm not even certain that they're bottoming now, but I do know that every single paycheck I will buy at least $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. And then coming into next year, when all of these Wall Street companies and even Citigroup start pushing the price up, well, I will be sitting on a nice amount of money. And I've got to learn how to take profits. That's one thing I have never figured out how to do. So next time the bull run is really roaring along, I will see about pulling maybe, I don't know, a year's wages out or something. And then I'll consider pulling the plug on my job and start my new life as a retiree. Good times. Okay, guys, that's about all I got for you. And don't get married.